for your present.
Hello. Thanks everyone for joining me today. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ori. I'm a volunteer here at the Center for Creative Ecology at Persuasive. And today I want to talk to you about organic farming, and in particular why it is preferable over non-organic farming or what's called conventional farming. So a little about myself. I did not grow up as a farmer at all. I grew up in the United States, in the suburbs. I was a fat little kid. I had no concept of nutrition. I'm not sure if I ever ate vegetables. And if I did, I definitely never asked where they came from. Probably like most people in the United States, and maybe like many of you who never asked where their food comes from. But thankfully, my life took me in the direction of working in farming, and I just want to share a few pictures with you about my experience in farming. To me, organic farming has to do with diversity and abundance. It has to do with education, discovery, community, and connection. So, first off, let's understand a little bit about the differences between conventional agriculture and organic agriculture. So conventional agriculture is most known as monocropping agriculture. Large fields like you see here, all one crop. Lots of spraying of synthetic chemicals, fossil fuel-based chemicals. And what happens with these types of methods is you have very unhealthy soil, sad soil, and that's not what we're going for, right? So in organic farming, we're looking for biodiversity. Multiple kinds of crops, what's called crop rotation. We are looking to create a healthy ecosystem because we want our soil to be healthy and happy. Crop rotation and biodiversity allows for different types of species to give and take different things to the soil, and we're always trying to create stability. We're always trying to create a balance in order to have a healthy ecosystem, a healthy ground, with no spraying and a healthy atmosphere. So often when I talk about organic gardening with people, one of the first things I hear is that you have to spray. There's no other way to do it. You can't feed the world with conventional agriculture. So first thing I like to tell them is last time we checked, conventional agriculture wasn't feeding the world. There are millions of people all over the world who are hungry, who are starving. And I'm not just talking about the classic picture of the African child, but the developed nations in England, in Israel, the United States. There's plenty of hungry people every day. What we have today is massive amounts of food that that are usually not getting to everyone. We have things called food deserts, where people who live in urban areas don't have access to healthy food, whether it be conventional or organic farming. So I was curious myself about feeding the world and whether organic agriculture could do it. So I looked into it a little bit. I found a few different studies, a few different charts. And so what we can see here is an example of a county in the Midwest in the United States, a county in Iowa. And it shows the main crops, usually in the Midwest, of corn, soy, and oats. Lots of different products are made from these, particularly feed for animals. And as you can see, while organic agriculture does not meet the yields of conventional agriculture in the beginning, over time, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and even into 5 years, which this chart doesn't show, stability starts to be created. You create an ecosystem that's balanced, and the yields meet and eventually surpass conventional agriculture.
Cool.
This is a study done by FST, the Farming Systems Trial, and it is a independent study, the longest study ever done, comparing organic agriculture and conventional agriculture. It's over 30 years old and still going. And this shows that same thing, that eventually both it meets the yields as well as surpasses. Some other things that, of course, this comparison chart shows energy inputs and how organic agriculture, you are putting less energy, less money, creating less pollution, getting more out of it, getting more profits, more yields. So conventional agriculture simply is not sustainable in the simplest form of the word. You have a system whereby you are continuously putting more efforts, more money into trying to maintain a system that continues to need more sprays, more efforts, more money, and eventually you lose. You lose the race. Eventually you have land that is no longer farmable. We are losing land every single day. On average, yearly, 1% of fertile soil in the world is lost to conventional agriculture. That is land that can no longer be farmed, and whether it can be redeemed through reclamation, composting, letting the land lie fallow is still to be determined, but at this point we are losing land. Organic agriculture is sustainable. Not only does it allow itself to survive and maintain, but it rejuvenates itself. The soil is healthier every year, more fertile every year. Organic farming is the only way to feed the world. That's not something I said, it's not something a bunch of hippies said. This is the findings of a UN report in the last year, the Commission of Trade and Development, amongst many things, did a study, and it was a collaboration of over 60 different experts in the world, and this is what they found, that organic farming is the only way in the world and the only way in the future. So what is it worth? It is easy to talk about ideology in terms of the environment, how nice it would be that things were green. But sometimes people need the facts, the numbers. And what is it worth? What does it give us? Everything that the environment gives us, can you put a price tag on it? So a few years back, some people tried to do just that. Economists, environmentalists got together and figured out what all of the services that the environment gives to mankind, how much it's worth in today's economy. $142.7 trillion. And that's up from $33 trillion in 1997, almost 20 years ago. That is the total amount of all of the services, okay? All of the services that the environment gives to people. So everybody knows this picture, everybody's familiar with this picture. This, of course, is our planet, our Earth. 40 years ago, nobody had seen this. This is a photograph taken from an early Apollo mission in 1972. And the impact of this picture is that this is the first time that people could see that we are a sphere floating in space, the fragility of the planet, the connectedness of everything. There's no borders. There's no geographical, atmospheric borders. We could finally, for the first time, see that a storm system forms in one area and that remnants of it travel all the way to another place, that the atmosphere in one part of the globe affects and is affected by another part of the globe. Therefore, what we are putting into the air, what we're putting into the soil that affects what we're putting into the air, it's all connected. So, I hope you guys learned a little bit today about organic agriculture and why it's preferable over conventional agriculture. And I don't want anybody leaving here feeling disillusioned or deflated or distraught over what you can do to change it. Every one of us has the opportunity and the strength and the ability to make small changes and to influence others, for better or for worse. So remember that while it is true that a single spark can create a massive wildfire, it's also true that the creation of a thousand forests is in one acorn. So, thank you.